one problem, and if anybody has a question, you know, I'll send it out tonight, and this way they can take a look at it. Let me see. So let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. And let's see. Can you see what I have on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So let me go back to it here and oh my goodness. Let me try this real quick. Let me try one more thing. And okay, so check. Yeah, you can still see it. Okay, so let's just do this one problem, and and if it helps, that's good. And so it says the mean height of women in a country ages 20 to 29 is 63.9 inches. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to write
63.9.
Yeah, so let me do this. Let me see if I can get a finer point. Okay, so mu is 63.9. A sample of 55 women. Okay, so that's telling me that my n is 55.
55.
And the question says, what's the probability that the mean height for the sample is greater than 64? Okay, so what we're looking for here is what's the probability that x is greater than 64? And it also tells me that my sigma in this case is 2.71. Okay, so just like we've been doing all the problems, the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to convert this to
a z-score?
Z-score, that's right.
Yeah.
So the only difference now is because we're dealing with, as opposed to just picking like one person, we pick a sample of 55 women, we find their average height, and we're using the average height from that sample. So the only thing that's going to be different here is instead of me dividing by sigma, I'm now dividing by sigma over the square root of n. So I'm going to do the same thing we've been doing before. So let me write it out again. We're going to go z equals 64 minus 3.9. We're going to put that in parentheses, right?
Divided by 2.71, right?
2.71, excellent. Divided by the square root of, remember, it's n. And n in this case was
55.
There you go. You got it. Take it away. Okay, so I'm just going to do this on my calculator here. I don't know. You may not be able to see it, but let me just bring this over here. And so I'm going to type in parentheses 64 minus 63.9. Close off my parentheses. And now I'm going to go divided by. Actually, you know what? Let me show you this part on the calculator so that. Let me see. Stop sharing this part. And I am going to share the calculator so you can see exactly what it looks like. And yes, you can see the calculator. Okay, and then we were dividing by, what was it, 2.71?
2.71, yes.
2.71 divided by
the square root
of, what was it, 55?
55, yes.
Yeah, so I want you to notice that this is just how my calculator works, but I have, my calculator puts parentheses when I do my square root, so I'm going to close off those parentheses. And then I had opened up a set of parentheses when we had the 2.71, so I'm going to close those two. And I'm going to hit enter, and the number that I'm coming up with here is 0.27. So remember, when I'm doing my z-score is going to be two decimal places. And then when I do the probability will actually be 4. So here I'll say, okay, my z-score is going to be 0.27. So let me stop sharing this part here, and let me share the forward right here. Okay, and we said the number we came up with was 0.27. Okay. All right. So now when we get to this part, let's see, this, okay. Now what we're looking for, wow. There we go. So now what we're looking for is what's the probability that Z is greater than 0.27? Okay. So again, if I think about this part right here, and now I draw my normal curve. So here's 0, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. So 0.27 is probably going to be somewhere right about there. And because we're looking for the area to be to the right, because it's looking for greater than, it'll be the area to the right. So you're right. This particular problem here, let's see. You're right. I don't have to use. I don't have to do the whole subtracting from 1 because I'm going to use my calculator, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And then remember, we're going to have two numbers. The first one is going to be the lower number, and the second one is going to be the upper number. So wouldn't our lower number here be 0.27? And then, since I'm going all the way over here to the right, wouldn't my upper number be 9999?
Yes.
Right. So then I'm going to do the same thing here. Let me stop doing this. Let me come back to this part. Let me share my calculator again. And okay. So now we're going to, let me clear the screen. So we're going to go second vars. And we're going to go normal CDF. And we're going to type in, what was it, 0.27, comma. And then we're going to do our nines. We're going to close that off. And I'm going to hit enter. And if I go to 4 decimal places, it looks like it would be about 3936. Right? Because the number after the 5 is an 8. So I got to round that 5 up. So it would be 0.3936.
Yes.
So if I do this, and let's see, come back here, come back to this thing. What was it? There we go. And my answer here would be 0.3936. And let me see what number this was. This was number 6. So I just got a message from one of our classmates, and they were asking me if I could do number 7. So let's. I'm going to do number 7. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it the same way I did this one. Let me take the. Let me see. And so let me see if I put this here. Okay. So can you still see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So look, this is number 7. And so somebody asked me right now, they just sent me a message on their mind asking if I could do number 7. So let's do number 7. We're going to go about doing this one, the same way we did the other one, right?
Yes.
So if we notice here, it says the height of women ages 20 to 29 is distributed with a mean of 63.9. So again, I'm going to go mu is 63.9. We know that our standard deviation is 2.7. Okay, so this question says, are we more likely to randomly select one woman with a height of less than 66, or are we more likely to select a sample of 17 women with a mean height of less than 66? And explain. Okay, so this is going to be kind of in 2 parts. So part A is going to be what happens if we have one woman where her height is going to be less than 66, okay? So when we're doing it this way, remember, there's not necessarily a sample of so many people here. We're picking one individual, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm still going to find my z-score, but because we're only taking one individual, it's not a sample of, more than one, right? It's one person. So I'm going to go back to using what we were doing before. And so I'm going to come back over here, and we're going to say, remember, our X number is 66 minus 63.9, all divided by 2.7. And again, we'll do this part on the calculator. So I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to pull up the calculator so that we can see it. Where did we go? There we go, right there. And let's see, here we go. So here's my calculator. Let me clear this out. So the numbers that we had were, already lost it. Let me see what the numbers were. 66 minus 63.9. So it was 66 minus 63.9. Close that off, and we were dividing it by 2.7. And so, again, remember, I'm finding my z-values. So my z-values are always going to be the 2 decimal places. So to 2 decimal places, y'all agree this would be 0.78?
0.78.
Yeah. Okay, so look, we're going to go right here, 0.78. Let me share the
Is it all places when you're looking for the z-value? It's always 2 places?
Yeah, and the only reason why it's 2 places is because if we were to use those tables, those tables only go to two places.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying 2 places,
The bottom one is the positive. The bottom little on the table. Use the bottom. Use the bottom.
That's right. If we were going to use the table, we would be using the bottom one. Again, the one thing I really want to mention here is that you guys have the option, right? So I know that the tables are in this problem. You don't necessarily have to use a table. If you're more comfortable using the calculator, by all means, I want you to use the calculator. And if you enjoy using the table, then that's what I want you to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this part here. So the first thing I'm going to write now, I'm going to write, we're looking for the probability that z is less than 0.78. Again, I want to get a visual of what that means. So here's my normal curve. And let me see. Here is 0. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. So 0.78 is probably going to be somewhere right about there. And since we're looking for the probability to be less than 0.78, we're actually looking for the area to the left, right?
Yes.
Okay, so remember, if I was to use my calculator, I would be writing normal CDF. And then remember, I'm going to be using 2 numbers. And one of them is going to be my lower number, and one's going to be my upper number. So if I'm all the way over here to the left, remember, my lower number will be the negative 9999, while my upper number is going to be a 0.78. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my calculator again. And back here, get our calculator. All right. And so I'm going to go second 10 bars, and I'm going to go to normal CDF. Here we go. And we had negative 9999, comma, something wrong here.
0.78.
Yeah, comma, 0.78, right? Close off my parentheses, and I'm going to hit enter. And so coming up with 0.7823. 23. So I will come back to my notes, and we're coming up with 0.7823. So we did the first part of it. This is like a 2-part question. Okay, so now I'm going to do the second part. So I'm going to kind of try to zoom back in a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Okay, and the second part says, what happens if we're more than likely to select one woman or select a sample of 17 women with a height of less than 66? Okay, so let me see. Let me bring this down here. Now I'm going to do part B over here on the side. Okay, so in part B, these numbers are still the same. The only part that's different now is we're looking at a sample of 17 women. And we want to know if we were to take 17 women and take the average of, we would take all their heights and average them up, would that group have a height less than 66? So now we're going to say, what's the probability that X is less than 66? We're going to convert this again to a z-score, but because we're using a sample, my formula is slightly different. And this is the only part that's really different in that formula. So I'm going to write 66 minus 63.9 divided by 2.7 divided by the square root. We said we're looking at a sample of 17. Okay, so let me grab my calculator again and bring it over here so you guys can see it. There we go. It should be coming up now. There we go. And so I'm going to clear this out. And on my calculator, I'm just writing 66 minus 63.9, close it off, divided by, open up a set of parentheses, I'm going to put 2.7 divided by the square root of 17. I need to close off the parentheses for my square root, and I need to close off the parentheses for the bottom part. And I'm going to hit enter. And I think I did something wrong because this doesn't look right.
I got 1.3. Maybe I did it wrong too.
Okay, you got the same answer or you got something different?
No, I got something different.
Okay, let me double check. 66 minus 63.9, close it off. Divided by 2.7 divided by the square root of 17, close it again. Maybe it is right. Yeah, good. Okay, that's what it is. It's 3.2 or 3.28. Okay, I just wanted to double check. So my z value is 3.21.
21. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so now I'm going to draw my picture again. So here's my normal curve. Here's 0, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, and we are dealing with actually 3.21. And we are looking for, since we're trying to find the probability that z is less than 3.21, we're looking for the area again all the way to the left. Okay. So again, if I were to do this on my calculator, I'm going to write normal CDF, and since I'm all the way over here to the left, this is going to be negative 999, and this one here is going to be a 3.21, and I'm going to do this part on my calculator. So let me get that for you all so I can show you what I'm doing. And I'm going to clear this out here. I'm going to go second bars. I'm going to go to normal CDF. And I'm going to type in a negative 9999, comma, 0.21. And I'm going to hit enter. And if you notice, I'm coming up with 0.9993. So 0.9993. So let's see. Come back over here and bring this in. And we said a 0.9993. Okay. So now, when I look at the problem, I want you to try to look at, best you can, both pictures. So if we look at this picture here, and we look at this picture here, this picture, we're looking at more area because we're all the way over here at 3.21 and we're going to the left. This one, we were barely at 0.78, so we weren't even at 1. We're going to the left. So this one has a bigger area. Because it has a bigger area, when I zoom back into my problem, let me see if I can do that. I'm going to get this thing to work. There we go. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually share the actual screen of the problem so that we can enter the answers in and do a little stare and compare. So what do we get for the answer for this first one? The 0.7823? 0.7823. So let me stop sharing that, and let me see if I can share one more screen with you guys. Here we go. Okay, so this one here, for the first part, we ended up with a 0.7823. Now I'm going to hit check my answer, and whoo! Okay, so we got the first part right. And then the second answer we came up with was something like 0.999. Oh, I already forgot.
I think it was 3.
It was 3 also? Yes, you're right. So we'll put a 3 right here at the end of it. And we will check our answer there. Ooh, we got that part right. So then now when we get to our question, the questions ask me, which one has a higher probability, the first one or the second one? Well, it's actually, the second one has a better probability. So we're going to look at, it is more than likely to select.
17.
No, that wouldn't be right. It is more than likely to have, no. It is more than likely to select a sample of 17 women with a mean height of less than 66. No, it's not a lower probability. It's actually a higher probability, right? So it's more likely to select a sample of 17 women with a mean height of less than 66 because the sample has a higher probability. And then I would check my answer, and it would tell me fantastic. And so we know that we figured it out. So somebody did send me this one here, so I hope that this is going to help them. And like I said, I'll send this video out later on today. But let me stop sharing this piece here, and let me come back over here. So did anybody else have any questions? Aurora, you said you know, it just took you a little while to do it, but you were able to figure it out, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to see, I guess, I thought, I don't know, more people were going to join. I was just going to see.
Yeah, no, I mean, but this is good. I mean, I was happy to go through this. Let me see. Maribel, okay, I know you said that you were having some trouble with the microphone. Did you have any particular questions that you wanted to ask me about anything, Maribel, or was this good enough? I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yes, no. Let me just do it like this. I'll put it in the chat. Any questions? And so I'll put it this way, guys. Like I said, tonight, everything is going to open up for the next 2 weeks. And I think, you know what, I can tell you for sure because I have it written down here. I have it in this one. I have a little folder where I write down what I'm doing. Okay, so this coming week, I'm just going to have you guys just do 2 sections, 6.1 and 6.2. Next week, I'll have you do another 2, 6.3 and 7.1. So if y'all want, next Monday, if you guys can knock out 6.1 and 6.2 by next Monday, then next Monday night we can do another session. And if anybody has any questions, you know, I'll be more than happy to go over them, and we'll see if we can't figure some stuff out. So, any other questions about anything? If not, we can go ahead and stop it here. I just wanted to make sure that you guys felt okay about it. But I think doing something like this, it will be helpful. And so, guys, even though those of you who didn't sign in tonight, like I said, if you have questions, join, right? Join. We'll do this Monday nights at 7 p.m. And we'll just do this for the next few weeks to make sure that everybody's okay with this stuff, okay?
Okay.
So that was good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, Maribel, any questions?
I don't
Okay.
think-
Okay, well, guys, that's it for us tonight. But if you all got questions, let me know. And guys, you don't have to wait till the Monday night sessions. You can still send me, so can you help me with this problem, that problem? And I'll still be happy to make the video and send it out to everybody. So we can still keep doing that kind of stuff, okay? So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Bye.